we're never alive again. Step in the room, yeah, I question it all, yeah. Not here to preach, just answer the call. Devil's advocate. Hear the other side. Voices unheard, I won't let them hide. Brotherhood strong, yeah, we speak our truth. Real talk, only no filter, no proof. Average man with a weight on his chest. Say what we feel, put it all to the test. Work, pressure, silence, we hope.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Saturday night live stream. What's up, everyone? It's been tiring. I don't know how long I will go on for tonight. Tonight has been a more tiring day than usual. Just got home recently from work, so I don't know. Don't know how long I will go on, but you know, I still want to do a live stream. So, all right, let's get started. Okay, so I had a few detractors or disagreeers, right, with me wanting to what's my opinion on this, right? So let's get started. Yo, big bars, what is up, my brother? What is up? So this is what is it called? I guess the Proud Boys, right? Where a lot of people was calling this a white supremacist group, the Patriot Front. Okay. One thing I would say this, right? I'm not crazy about these guys because they wear a mask, right? I think that if you are not scared, right, you shouldn't wear a mask. But they would be scared for a reason. So let's say this. ICE agents, I understand that, right? You're doing a job where a lot of people hate you. I think that supporting America, people shouldn't hate you, but I guess people would. Particularly since people call you white supremacist group. But I look into this, right? I look into groups like this. Now I looked into, I think the the Proud Boys or whatever. I don't know if this is the same group, but they don't call themselves a white supremacist group, right? Heck, what I read, I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not crazy about the Confederate flag, but they have all these American flags. Is that they have some, minority members, right, in some of their chapters. So they're just an American-oriented group, right? A very conservative, right-leaning group. So if they're right-leaning, it's not surprising that they're majority white, right? I mean, right-leaning. It's not surprised that they would be majority white people, right? Majority white men. So again, I've not seen them do anything that I would deem as racist, right? I've yet to hear anything they say as racist. I just think that people deem them as racist. Now, again, there's no reason for me to support them. I'm just saying, like, show me the evidence that they're a white supremacist group, right? Where I don't see anything saying that, oh, let's get rid of minorities. Um, you know, and like I said, some chapters have minorities in them. So, but let's continue with so I don't I'm not crazy about the mask. I understand it because they don't want to be targeted because people view them as white supremacists. But I would say be proud, right? Be proud that you love America, you're supporting America, and you're a nationalist. But I get it.
I just cannot stop thinking about that photo from this weekend. The photo of a black woman sitting on a train, a metro in Washington, D.C., surrounded by members of the Patriot Front, which is a white nationalist group. And I think that picture went viral because for a lot of people, myself included, it felt like a metaphor.
See, a white nationalist, right? Nationalist is pretty much you love your country, and I guess you're a group of white people. Is that crazy? I mean, it's like nothing you say is like they're a racist group.
It to me is a physical representation of a tension that has frankly always existed in America. Who gets to belong? Who gets to be considered American? These are questions that we have been asking since the founding of this country, if we want to be honest. You know, the founders wrote that all men are created equal, while many of the same men who signed that glorious document owned people who looked like me. So, yes, I recognize that the photo is uncomfortable, that these conversations are uncomfortable, but this is a very American conversation. And, you know, history tells us something about this. White supremacist movements in America, they have always adapted to the moment. Now, no, the Patriot Front is not the KKK. But it sure seems to me that white supremacy has traded in the hoods and torches for khakis and white ski masks. The packaging has changed.
Like I said, I don't care for the mask. You should be proud to support America, to represent America. But again, I can understand it. But let's not be disingenuous. Plenty of people on the left wear masks. Plenty. All these protesters I always see, they're wearing masks of some sort. So let's not be dishonest about it, okay? The thing that, oh, who's to be American? I mean, like I said, I haven't seen any report that they don't allow people of color into their group.
But the message about who belongs and who has power, it has not changed. Okay? And history teaches us something important about that these movements often show up when the racial hierarchy in this country feels like it's changing. The KKK didn't emerge before the Civil War. It emerged during Reconstruction, after the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, after black men gained voting rights and political power. So when people say, why do you have to make everything about race, Simone? My response is often, I am not the one making it about race.
You are. They're nationalist group, right? they what I would say is that my research is, I mean, my glance over research is they're a national group, nationalist, not a white supremacist group, right? People like this made it about race. Now, we have to think, okay? We got to look at the demographics. 80% of, excuse me, I got hookups. 80% of Black Americans strictly vote Democrat. They're left leaning, right? They're not right leaning. So, is it a surprise that majority of people who would be nationalists, and let's be honest, the left, Democrats, they're not nationalists. They're not particularly lovers of the country. They're not, right? They would never deem themselves as nationalists, right? As nationalistic. They, excuse me, they're not really all that about the country.
The racist are. Black.
Who's the racist? What did they do that made you deem them as racist? Ugh, God, the hookups. By your own words, they're not the KKK. You don't point to anything specific of what a racist act they do. This is a thing where this is why I hold minorities accountable for the words. Show me their racist acts. In general, excuse me, damn. This is why a lot of people like this always bring up slavery. Right? Always bring up slavery, sometimes bring up Jim Crow. Because they can't actually give you racist examples, right? So they have to bring up the past. They can't point to you anything particular in the present, right? They have to go decades in the past because they can't bring up anything in the future, in the present, to support their claim.
People did not create slavery. Black people did not create Jim Crow, okay?
Did you say black people did not create slavery? Neither did white people. I mean, like, are you saying that there's no slavery in Africa? This is what I'm saying. It's the dishonestness. Jim Crow. I mean, like, laws against people. It's like, she just hate all men.
Black people did not create segregation. And
did not create segregation. You know, right now, currently in Africa, I think, oh God, I'm sorry. I think some places there are places where, depending on what tribe you are from, you will be segregated, right? You'll be persecuted. You'll be kicked out of certain countries, certain regions.
Black people were not the ones marching through the United States Capitol questioning who gets to belong in America. For 250 years.
I'm pretty sure, right? They're for the deportations of illegal immigrants, right? So, yeah, illegal immigrants should not belong in America. Fuck my hookups.
America's story has been a fight over whether the promise of this country expands or it contracts. And that photo reminded a lot of people, myself included, that the fight is still happening today.
The fight. I don't know what fight you're talking about. It's ridiculous.
Liberal influencers spent the whole weekend circulating this photo and trying to paint this woman as a modern-day civil rights hero. But then the truth came out, and now all of them should feel completely ridiculous.
Everyone needs to see this photo. This is a photo taken by Reuters of the white supremacists traveling to the Capitol on the DC Metro. In the middle of the sea of white supremacists, we see a lone black woman commuting, surrounded by a sea of people who do not think she deserves rights. A sea of people who do not
prove that. It's like, I just really don't understand it. Prove it.
think she deserves to be in this country, and frankly, a sea of people who probably don't think she deserves to be alive. And while this sea of cowards were traveling to our capital to protest for one of the most explicitly degenerate and dangerous ideologies that has existed in history, this lone black woman...
What is the ideology?
sat there, unmasked, to face it all.
First of all, this picture is showing the opposite of the script that you were given and paid to repeat, allegedly. It's showing the progress that we've made in the last 100 years, that a black woman can get on a bus full to the brim of white people, and no one's talking to her, bothering her, harassing her, and she will get off that bus safely. And we know that 100 years ago, that would not have been the case. This photo proves that there is a lack of racism, not the existence of it. But you want to know what your modern day Rosa Parks was doing before these guys got on the bus? She was on the bus, kneeling on the floor with her pants down and her butt hanging out the window. She's a homeless woman in the area. Allegedly. So yeah, that's who liberals picked as their hero this weekend. Not surprised. It tracks. Liberal.
What is it like to be on the metro with a group of men that are labeled as a white supremacist group? I talked to this man, Roswell Encina, about what he was feeling.
Nothing really prepares you for something like that, and you tend to tense up and kind of wonder what's happening. I'm not the first person to go through all of this. Ruby Bridges, there's so many African-American kids and teenagers and students from the 50s and 60s.
Did you just bring up Ruby Bridges? You stupid ass fucking Asian person. Did you just, what, compare your stupid whatever to Ruby Bridges? You're not doing shit. They're not doing shit to you. It's like these pictures, you just take a picture of any minority in the space.
That went through worse.
I had actually interviewed Roswell about 5 years ago as well about a different incident on the metro where a group of kids had poured coffee on him and another Asian American passenger, but they left all of the non-Asian passengers alone.
It's kind of hard to believe that was almost, 5 years ago, Amy, that when we first chatted about all this. It's just a reminder of the divisions in this country. It's always tough going through something frightening, and that makes you terribly uncomfortable at the moment. But I do believe that there's hope.
What is it like to...
Well, Democrats, is this your hero from the subway July 4th? Is this your hero? Wow, this is her being arrested for indecent exposure for taking a shit in one of the subway cars in 2024. So is this the hero from the front pages? The woman that's scared and surrounded by these evil white nationalists? Who they have video of apologizing for crowding her and allowing her to sit down while they remain standing. Like, it's apparently the only criminal on the subway was her. You see how you guys take shit, rebrand it, and put it out there without knowing, like, oh yeah, this woman, she's so scared. These white nationalists who allow her to sit down. This woman who was arrested for indecent exposure for shitting in this exact same subway. Like, yeah, we need to protect this woman. We need to protect the shitter. Well.
So you mean to tell me this picture is what CNN and ABC and NBC and all these liberal news networks are so upset about? How this black woman was surrounded by white supremacists? That's all they're talking about now. This black woman was surrounded by white supremacists. But you know what they're not talking about? That she was harassed, threatened, intimidated, assaulted. They didn't say anything like that. So you mean to tell me these white supremacists can gather, go to their destination, air their grievances out, not assault, not intimidate anybody, and leave without causing damages? Also, does everybody remember Rana Zaruska, the Ukrainian refugee who came to America to escape Russia bombs, who was violently taken away at such a young age by a thug? The left-wing media doesn't talk about that, but we haven't forgotten. But what's really funny and interesting is that whenever BLM has a disagreement or they want to air out their grievances, they're destroying cities, they're burning cop cars, they're destroying businesses, small businesses, mom and pops.
And that's the thing where, that's the bias, right? A woman just sitting there, right? Yes, surrounded by white people, right? Looks like she's a mentally disturbed woman from all the information we're hearing. Nothing's happened to her. And you got to paint an ugly picture. Yet, when actual bad things, like in riots from the left, quiet. You're not painting a story. You're not painting a picture that is bad. It's just disgusting. It's just a one-sided narrative.
Stealing, doing all this crazy stuff, and the left-wing media stays silent. So is it about time that BLM takes pointers for how to protest from the white supremacists? So you mean to tell me this?
Good trouble. Sam Rosenholtz, the person with 1.4 million followers, made a video on a shit post I made on my second account, and I wasn't going to respond, but this is perfect. The woman he shows, who's supposedly a victim, on this train, this Reuters photo, which went triple platinum. Dean Withers posted this as well. Literal public nuisance and a crackhead who's showing her asshole to people. So maybe she was behaving because she's surrounded by people of...
So she was arrested a while back because she was indecent exposure. And she did it again right before that the Patriot Front entered it. So really, this is who the left is trying to defend.
good character? I don't know. He equates white men organizing to terrorism. Is it terrorism when Muslims take over the streets of New York and shout that they will conquer America?
Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Oh no! Fuck you! Islam will be in every household. Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim. You see this city? You see how it looks? Inshallah, your city looks just like this too.
That every knee will bend, that every person will convert to Islam, Islam will enter every home.
That Islam did not come to coexist.
Is that not terrorism? It's terrorizing the public. Is that not more of a nuisance? Is it more of a nuisance when gay pride parades take over the streets and they are exhibitionist in nature, showing off sexual depravity and kink, wearing dog masks? What's more of an eyesore? Right-wing men carrying a flag or left-wing men showing their micro-penis to the public? What about when blacks do their teen takeovers? That is a form of race riot. That is a form of terrorizing the public. Are they not assaulting random people? Are they not carrying guns and shooting at officers? They take over streets, city centers, shopping malls, and beaches all over America. And look at the 4th of July. Centerville, Mississippi, 9 shot, 2 killed by a black shooter. San Antonio, Texas, 5 shot, 2 killed by a black shooter. Compton, California, 5 shot, 2 killed. Fort Wayne, Indiana, 1 killed. Pensacola, Florida, 6 shot, 1 killed. Ratcliffe, Kentucky, 4 shot, 1 killed. Brooklyn, New York, 8 shot, 1 killed. Chicago, Illinois, 7 shot by multiple black shooters. That's just...
Yes, racism is the bigger issue. Racism is the bigger issue. This ain't the 1940s. I'm sorry. This ain't. This ain't the 1930s. This ain't the 1900s. Racism isn't that big of an issue. I'm not saying racism is a zero problem. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying racism isn't that big of an issue, right? These, right, are a bigger issue.
In one
Like, you gotta imagine, right? A whole bunch of white people surrounding you, and that's what you care about. That's what you focus on. Yet, all the killings, all the deaths, all the like teen takeovers, all the craziness in the black community, you ignore. I'm pretty sure that woman, right, not making a video on that.
Is that not terrorism? If white men organize businesses and disaster relief for people who have lost everything, that's terrorism, according to leftists like Sam Rosenholtz, because he would want the state to be used, weaponized against his enemies. He would want the state in FEMA to ignore people who have lost their home, lost all of their possessions, their car, and they have nowhere to go and the roads are completely closed. But not these men. They step up to help. We know of one other very fat, bloviating leftist, very prominent figure, in fact, who celebrated when floods took out the homes of so-called conservatives. When hurricanes destroy the homes of these conservatives, I recall making videos when black Americans were celebrating Camp Hope and these little girls.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls' Christian camp.
These angels being...
You know, I find it really funny. I really do. That when black people want black-only things, right? It's okay. It's okay. There's no problem with that. When something may be deemed as white only, which I don't even know if it's true, right? But if it is, hypothetically, if it is, you have to cry about it? Did you want to join it? This is the thing I don't understand, right? I'm going to cover this later about the whole Nolan Wells thing, where so many people said, if you're the only black person surrounded by white people, that's terrible. That's terrible. So what is it, right? What is it? Do you want to join a group of white people or you do or you don't? It's like, damn if they do, damn if they don't, right? It's like, oh, God forbid there's only white people here, but you know what? Oh, if there's a black person in there, oh, he's gonna be in danger. Then what the hell do you want? What do you want? It's like, oh, I want like a lot of black people, which is what you're doing now, right? Places you go are predominantly black. So what problem are you having?
Killed by hurricanes in Texas. I'm sure these people truly care about their fellow American. Good trouble. Sam Rosenholtz, the person.
I'm tired of the focus on race. I really am. It is tiring about the focus on race. It really is. It's just my opinion. Because I think it doesn't help. It really doesn't help. Because I don't know. I'm an 80s baby. So for in my opinion, right, there was a time where 80s, 90s, and a little bit of the 2000s, early 2000s, race wasn't the focal point. But now it's become the focal point. Has it gotten better? Has things gotten better since we focus so much on race? Has it gotten better for society? I don't think so. Laughing man, what is up? What is going through DA? What's going on? My BLM lover. Yes. I'm a BLM lover.
At the very height of...
What's up, laughing man? What is up, my brother? Thank you guys for being here. You know, I don't know how long I will go for the live. It's been a tiring day. All right. Just got home from work a little while ago. So we'll see. But I do have some videos I want to watch. So that's probably why I'm going straight to it. I have some planned videos. So we'll see. All right. Let's check these out.
Slavery, at the very height of slavery, there were 393,975 slave owners in the U.S. out of a total population of over 31 million. That translates to about 1.2% of the population. The vast majority of American whites never owned any slaves. That's a critical point when in the context of modern calls for reparations. As a rule, black slaves in the American South had a life expectancy of 40 years. And an annual mortality rate of 3 to 5%. Their odds of getting married, having children, attaining freedom were dramatically higher than slaves in the Caribbean, Brazil, East Africa, or, God forbid, Dahomey. Slaves in the Caribbean lived in barracks. In the South, they had cabins. There's no doubt that being a slave was a bad life, but if you were to be enslaved, it was better to be enslaved in the United States. At the very height of slavery,
it is what it is. This is a thing where sometimes we forget by the times. I think it's stupid, right? At a time, all nations conquer each other, right? All nations had slaves. All nations did a lot of killings. It is what it is. And I'm working to actually, if you heard that taste from Chicago, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing ground crew. Let me know what that is. I don't even know what you're talking about, my brother. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I always find it funny that the people who complain that we make everything about race.
I made a list. Black colleges. Black excellence. Black money. Black wealth. Black entertainment television. Black rodeo. That's a real thing. Black beauty pageants. Blackdoctor.org. It's real. Black Lives Matter. Black Power. Black leaders. Black activists. Black businesses. Black music. Black love. And there's more.
No, I gotta say, I think it's only black people that care about race in today's day and age, right? In modern day's age, I think it's only black people that care. They make it distinct, right? They need to make it separate. I know you never did nothing like that. Tell me all I need to know, and I'm saying I'm actually working right now at the Taste of Chicago. It's an event, yeah. Oh, I don't get out much at all. Taste of Chicago, that's cool. You gotta record it. Record it and put it up. If you're working there, you gotta, show some bit of your life, my brother.
We'll be here all day. But there's more. So yeah. So-called black people in America make everything about race.
I always find it funny that the people who complain that we make everything about race.
I made a list. Black colleges. Black excellence. Black money. Black wealth. Black entertainment television. Black rodeo. That's a real thing. Black beauty pageants. Black Lives Matter. Black power. Black leaders. There's more. We'll be here all day. But there's more. So yeah. So-called black people in America make everything about race. Definitely. It's annoying. It's really annoying.
You made a list, but didn't add a drop of context as to why those terms were created in the first place. Well, I didn't expect you to, because you and black people like you would rather live on their knees than die on their feet. You enjoy being called one of the good ones, so you disassociate yourself from black people as if that's going to shield you. Because you think that if you carry water for them long enough, you'll be accepted. But you're sadly mistaken. They'll just tolerate you long enough until they have no more use for you. But trust me, believe you me, that train is never late. At some point, black people like you always get that wake-up call. And for the record, those terms, they were created to foster racial pride and demand self-determination and push back against systemic racism, exclusion, and negative societal narratives.
To push back against society. You know what it's done, in my opinion. Right? I don't believe it's done what the black community had hoped it to do. It has only made it that, you know what? It shows you that you're different. That is it. It shows you that you're not part of you're not part of America. You don't deem yourself Americans, right? You are your own group. You are your own group of people. Right? The negative, it's like, this is a funny, right? Push back against negative societal narratives. Does it? Does it? Do you actually make an effort to push back against actual negative societal narratives? Do you? Criminality, single motherhood, dependent on welfare, violence, drug use. Do you actually push back? No one. This is a thing where even saying black success, right? It doesn't counteract the negative social narrative. It doesn't. Because to humans, any human, right? Black, white, Asian, doesn't matter. The negative always is bigger, right? So if you show like, oh, there's black success, great. But you're not changing the bad stuff. You're not changing the bad stuff. You're just trying to make it distinct. Oh, there is black success. Great. But then you are essentially disassociating yourself from the rest. That's the thing.
You would know that if you just picked up a book instead of picking up those tap shoes.
Who raised this nigga?
And this is a thing where that's what black people like this do, right? When you call out the insanity, right? Because here's the thing, this whole black thing, blah, 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 and the constant focus on race. It's the hypocrisy is that, what if white people focus on race? That's terrible, right? Like, literally, we did a video already of a white group, supposedly white group, right? The Patriot Front or whatever. That's not good, right? That is white supremacy, right? White supremacy. This is not black supremacy. It's not. I just like, My problem is that when shit like this, right? Mindset like this shows you that if given the power, right? Given the opportunity, Black people would not be, there would be no different. It would be no different than the very people they complain about. There would be no different, right? And recording nowadays in an event like this with hundreds of people and liberals too, DA, I mean, I think it's just, I'm pretty sure the Taste of Chicago, plenty of people is going to record it. I just want to show you it's like, that's Black power. It's like, this is the problem with like the Black community. You don't care. You don't really care about the situations. You're more dangerous in your community than outside of it. Gonna be Black pill. We are never going to hold minorities and women accountable as long as white men are I do agree. I do agree.
Something I've been mad about recently is the fact that it's really hard to find glasses that fit my nose shape because glasses are made for white people. Racism has struck once again, and it's hurting my vision.
Your nose, right, isn't much different than mine. And I picked it up. It's like I wear glasses most of my life. What the hell are you talking about? See, this is the problem I have. This is the problem. I love being a man. Really, it's like you just love being a victim. And I can see the rainbow flag in the background. Just another victim, right? Another woman, another person that loves to be a victim. Great.
Whenever I'm in a situation where somebody being racist to me, the other person gonna always think I'm an animal, you heard me? Everybody around him gonna say, she belongs in a zoo, cause I'm gonna cut the fuck up cause you don't get to judge me, because
I just find it funny that you don't live by example. You are like an animal right now. You're acting wild. You're acting uncontrolled.
I'm Black. You don't get to follow me around the store because I am Black. You don't get to say I steal because I'm Black. And you know damn sure ain't gonna tell me I gotta move because I am Black. Make me move. You do not get to mistreat us because we are Black.
It's not because you're Black. It's because how you act. You see this wildness? I've said this in today's day and age, right? Today's day and age. You control, right, the narrative you push out. And what you push out is an ignorant, aggressive, combative narrative. You are dangerous. You push out that you are dangerous. You are a danger to others. How dare you? I'm gonna be aggressive to you, right? This is the narrative you want to push out. This is what you want to push out. You control your narrative. This is why, like the video before, saying, "Oh, you know, all this thing is just to push back against the negative social narrative." Really, really, because this reinforces it, right? So you think adding all the Black to all this shit actually solves negative social narratives? It doesn't, because shit like this counteracts any kind of positivity.
This is not the slave days. It's not.
Okay. So, a couple things here. Impulse control. Maybe this is the reason why people are a little nervous that you're in their store. You're clearly overly medicated and you're on something like, why are you wearing these silk pajamas out in public? Could you have some self-respect? And then I think maybe 3, when is this gonna end? This faux oppression. You want real oppression? Go to Africa. Go to Haiti. You ever wondered why you don't see videos like this from Haitians who are from a Black country that's not even far from America? You know, they overthrew their white oppressors. They wore their clothes and everything. They took control of this little French society, And guess what happened next? It all collapsed into the single worst place to live in the Western Hemisphere. But this dynamic doesn't work when you recognize that black people, there are like a lot more black people in the world than white people. And so you're actually the majority. We're the minority. And so why aren't you acting right? You do know that you have a right, an ability to leave America at any time if you don't like the rules here. And the rules are generally like, don't steal stuff.
This is why, although I'm obviously not a white Christian or a white man, I'd rather live in a predominantly white Christian nation than other nations. I'm sorry. You can pay me enough to live in Africa. You can pay me enough to live in Haiti. You can pay me enough to live in these other countries. Yet, the people who hate this country so much wouldn't even leave.
Don't steal. But you can leave. And in fact, if it's a skin color thing for you, and you're so angry about that, and you made it a skin color thing, there's a lot more majority black countries than white countries if that's the thing that like really gets you upset. So you can go there. You're free to do that. Till then, and this always works with hysterical women, calm down.
I'm in a situation.
I'm a smooth operator. I ain't off a perk, but I'm percolating. Got a feeling hot on conversation. Things getting physical, recreation. I'm a smooth operator. I ain't off a perk, but I'm percolating.
Now, why would white people want to steal your purse? What are we supposed to do with an EBT card?
Need help? Yes, please. Probably chopstick.
It's like, you gotta be honest, right? Black Americans are at the bottom of the totem pole in economics. They're the bottom of the totem pole, right? You have nothing to steal from. It's like, you really have nothing to steal. There's nothing worth it. I don't really understand. Just act right? Just be good citizens and things would be different. Example.
Need help? Yes, please. Probably chopstick.
Polite. Basic. Not being aggressive. Not being combative.
이거 먹고 갈게요. 간다.
Like, to be honest, right? Well, I don't understand this. When black people go to other nations, other countries, they act better. They act like better citizens, right? And again, although it's not a majority white nations, they go to other nations. They know not to act like fools.
Do you need help?
Yes, please. You can scan.
Scan? Okay. Here. And start. Okay, that's 4 minutes. Okay. Start. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. You try chopstick? 여기 인식이 잘 안 되더라고요. 제가 한번 해드릴게요. 됐어요. 이거 시작 누르시면 돼요. Okay, sorry. Nice. 까르보다. 까르보. 야.
I tried this noodles. It's way too fucking spicy. It is crazy spicy. I don't know why people eat it. I mean, like, the noodles might not taste bad, but it's like the spice is just off the chart.
Coming soon to a Cracker Barrel near you. Fuck the 4th. Fuck the 4th.
They were still slaves on July 4th in 1776.
No, that's right. So, fuck the 4th. Period.
They said in the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal. They still have slaves.
Coming soon to a Cracker Barrel near you. Fuck the 4th. Fuck the 4th.
They were still slaves on July 4th in 1776.
No, that's right. So, fuck the 4th. Period.
They said in the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal. They still have slaves.
Okay. This is my problem, right? It's like this is why I say you're shackled to the past, right? It's not that you don't learn about the past and educate yourself about the past. It's that you're shackled to it, right? When you're shackled to it, you never think about anything else besides it, right? Everything you do in life, it's that, the past, right? It's about that. This is why modern day black people, at least online in real life, I don't even hear them talk about this. But online, when they make the stupid content, constantly slavery, 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 slavery. None of these people, not a single one, even knows what slavery is like. Not a single one of these people.
More than 400 people now under arrest after July 4th celebrations turned violent in Newport Beach, California. Police say they responded to fights, blocked roads, looting, even some people throwing fireworks at police officers. It took more than 350 cops from Newport Beach and other departments to actually break up the crowds. Now police say those responsible for violent and criminal behavior will be held accountable. More than 400 people now under arrest.
White freedom was the only independence that counted 250 years ago. I mean, 41 of the 56 signers of the Declaration.
Yes, 250 years ago, it was what, 90% white? So why the fuck wouldn't white freedom matter the most? Stupid ass Asian people, right? I mean, like this the septum ring thing. It's like, how stupid are you, right? No, duh. White freedom mattered the most in a country that was predominantly white, 90% white.
Declaration of Independence, literally signed at the Independence Hall right behind me, owned slaves. That's almost as ironic as Grindr crashing every time closeted.
Very few people during that time owned slaves. I guarantee you, during those times, Africans owned slaves, but you don't care about that, right? Your low IQ self don't care about that, right? You care about the point now, oh, white people own slaves. Okay, great. A good amount of other groups of people also own slaves. I'm pretty sure during that time, black people owned slaves as well. But you ain't gonna talk about that.
I mean, conservative Republicans have a convention. Oh, and 12 of the first 18 presidents owned slaves. So you see, this country has always been run by racist white men. Why would 2026 be any different?
And leave. I always find it the most hypocrisy where you, right? You're not you don't have generations here, right? And the amount of disrespect you have for our country, you don't know nothing about that, right? I'm not here talking about slavery because like my ancestors don't deal with slavery, right? So I love America for what it is today, right? What it is today.
So this 4th of July, if you're a white person wondering why there aren't more Black, Indigenous, Hispanic, Asian, and Arab folks celebrating how the U.S. liberated us by enslaving, stealing, and bombing our people, know that...
What? Then leave. I just swear to God, fucking leave. I'm pretty sure there are, like, I think Japan was celebrating July 4th, right? I believe so. I think I saw a video like that. And again, no, it's just liberals. It's not about, oh, indigenous or Asians or whatever. No, it's just liberals, right? Other people would.
the origins of this holiday only represents white freedom. White freedom was...
Are you stupid? No, it represented freedom from Britain, right? It represented freedom from Britain. No duh that during that time, it was majority white people. So yeah, majority white people, since it's a majority white nation, they benefit from that. It was for them. But this is the point, right? I don't discredit history. But as sad as it is, as sad as history may be, everything led to what it is now. The freedom your Asian ass is getting is thanks to everything you see. Everything happening, right? I'm sorry. If, let's say, hypothetically, no blacks came over here. No black people came over here. The advance of America might be a bit slower, right? And doubtful that there will be Asian people allowed in America. Doubtful, right? The Constitution, which is quite revolutionary document, right, would have been established. Democracy wouldn't have fled, right? Wouldn't have flooded the world as much as it did. In my opinion, I believe America did it, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be ignorant, but it's thanks to America, democracy became a powerhouse that it did, right? It is thanks to America that has gained that has spread freedom of speech, right? So many ways of freedoms. It's thanks to America and thanks to the developments in America. So as ugly as the history it is thanks to that history that has developed into the nation you see today. This is why this shit like this is disrespectful, right? And it's like, you just constantly, like, because I believe shit like this is just to, like, cover up, right? So you don't see any of the other shit. But it solves nothing. It solves nothing. It does nothing.
A violent brawl breaking out in South Carolina. A North Charleston police officer tackled to the ground and pummeled repeatedly during a 4th of July gathering of teens and young adults that descended into chaos. The video does not show how the fight started. This officer seen here firing his taser. Police say the 400-person crowd grew out of control. 4 minors and 2 adults were arrested. Authorities releasing these photos of guns and a makeshift spear recovered from the scene. The takeovers also ramping up in Raleigh, where videos show overrun streets and sidewalks as authorities say more than 5,000 teens began fighting early Sunday morning.
Both units are transporting the 2 victims.
Police say 9 people were shot and more than 24 young adults now face charges ranging from fighting to assaulting an officer.
Authorities say with these videos now circulating on social media, more arrests are now likely.
Yes. Let's care about the white man. Let's care about slavery. This is what is it? It's subterfuge, right? To make you not think about actual issues, things that are happening. And you know what? Let's focus on the white man. Let's focus on slavery. Let's focus on racism. I see no racism in this shit. I see no racism here. I see, honestly, a community that has no morals, that has no fathers, right? That's self-destructive. That's eating itself.
North Charleston.
You would think, right? You would think that the black community, has such a prominent history in America, they would be a huge population in America. Hispanic people are outpopulating them, right? Hispanic community is outpacing them in population. The black community is killing themselves. They are killing themselves off.
A white female police officer trying to break up chaos. The kids have no respect for the law. This can't go on forever. Expecting the rest of America and the other people in this community that just want to live in some sort of order and peace to have to put up with this. This is crazy. Black people clearly don't care about their kids if they're allowing their kids to just run out into the streets in the middle of their neighborhoods and create this kind of chaos. Someone has to put a stop to it, and there need to be some actual harsh consequences. North Charleston.
Yes, black power. Black success. Oh, that definitely fights against negative societal narratives. Yeah, sure. Destroying your community, right? Being a part of the destruction of your community. Shit like this will cost thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, to clean up. Tax money. Tax money. So the money that could go to, I don't know, to your school system, guess where it's going? To clean up your city. Right? Oh, that's where we're doing. It's like we have bigger problems than racism. Right? We have bigger problems than racism.
News! If you live in the Bible Belt states, aka the obesity belt, the divorce belt, the uneducated belt, the infant mortality belt, the prison belt, the teen birth rate belt, the poverty belt, the MAGA belt,
I guess you made this video as a gotcha for Trump supporters and Christians, but when you look at this map, it turns out to be a gotcha on yourself. So there's also that.
This is why, honestly, black intelligence doesn't help a lot of people.
Good news! If you live in the Bible Belt states, aka the obesity belt, the divorce belt, the uneducated belt, the infant mortality belt, the prison belt, the teen birth rate belt, the poverty belt, the MAGA belt,
aka the Black Belt. Yes, majority of America's black population is in this area. You're just shitting on black people without knowing. Luckily, I will come to their defense. Lowest cost of living belt, lowest housing cost belt, most moved into belt, energy production belt, charity belt. Yes, you said Bible Belt, but that's a good thing. You mentioned divorce rates. Well, yes, they also have the highest marriage rates. It's easy to cherry pick bad from states. Why not talk about how the most left-leaning states have the highest unemployment rate, or highest cost of living, highest taxed, highest homeless rates, most expensive child care states, most expensive gas prices, highest housing costs, highest housing shortages. The list can go on and on. The Bible Belt don't seem too bad compared to left-leaning states. You also enjoy pushing for socialism and communism. I can also make a video talking about how horrible these countries are compared to our capitalist society. You need to wake up to reality, get a job.
You know, I just had a woman today talk to me about how she left Philadelphia to move to Alabama. And she said it was a big surprise, right? Because if you listen to media, you know, you would think it's a racist state, right? You would think it's a terrible state. She says she loves it. She loves it, right? She said it's so friendly, right? The community is so friendly. You don't have to close your door. You don't have to lock your doors. Like, really? Like, you don't have to lock your car. You don't have to lock your house. It's a friendly state. I'm surprised because if you listen to social media, you would think this is a racist ass state, right? You think it was so racist. It's so terrible. But it's like, I don't know. This is why it's like interesting to hear the other narratives, right? And to actually educate yourself, right? But can I be surprised that liberal black people don't educate themselves? I'm not that surprised. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Please like the live. Please like the live. It helps me out. It helps me out. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the love. You guys are amazing. I love you. All right, let's continue. All right, so this is something that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to check out. I have a couple of videos on this, right? This is it's going kind of viral. Not this clip particular, but this whole notion of the memo guy, right? A memo guy. So being pretty viral, getting pretty big. So let's check it out.
Had a good time tonight. Definitely think you are lovely. Had a good time tonight. Definitely think you are lovely.
Let's make it louder.
Had a good time tonight. Definitely think you are lovely. However, I would love to, if we're going to go to your place on Thursday, I mean, I am looking to have that physical intimacy to see if, like, I am sexually compatible with you. So, like, if I'm going to come over, like, I would be hoping to, like, hook up, have sex, have a good time, have, like, that romantic spark and that physical spark there for my own sake, because it's hard for me to continue dating someone and seeing them if I don't know if I'm sexually compatible. So I know you said I don't know about that. So, like, I guess my thing is like, what would be the point of me coming over then if we're not gonna, like, hook up and, like, cuddle and, like, be intimate with each other? And if that's what you don't want, that's fine. But, like, I think we should just, like, end it here then, respectfully, just because first date, that's fine. Like, you want to get to know each other, I'm all about that. But, like, I am looking to have that physical aspect there, and I don't want to continue seeing someone if I don't know if that's good, if that's not there or not. So, up to you. Let me know. I'm happy to, if you do want me to come over, I'm happy to do so. Would love to have a good time, and, you know, we can have some wine, hang out, and chill. But if you're not trying to hook up, then, like, I think we should just go our separate ways. Let me know. Had a good time tonight. Yeah.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Did you think he was, I don't know, disrespectful? Do you think he made an ultimatum? I guess in a way. I mean, could we have sex? If not, we probably should stop. I guess you could technically you could probably deem it as an ultimatum, right? It's either have sex or we shouldn't continue seeing each other. But it's like, if you say that, pretty much anything and everything is an ultimatum, right? I mean, like, provide for me, or we probably should break up, or treat me better, or we probably should break up. It's like, okay, but seriously, is it a harsh ultimatum? I mean, it's like, he's not forcing you, right? This is a thing where I feels like sometimes I put ultimatums in a way that make me forceful, right? It might be a negative outcome, right? I mean, second date, if you don't see him again, it's not that big of a negative, right? So it's like a marriage, right? Where it's like, okay, it's either we have sex or I divorce you. Yeah, that seems like an ultimatum, right? Divorce is a very negative thing. So that is more understandable to be a negative. But did you guys think, let's play it again.
Had a good time tonight. Definitely think you are lovely. However, I would love to, if we're going to go to your place on Thursday, I mean, I am looking to have that physical intimacy to see if, like, I am
I mean, he's literally telling you his boundaries, right? His standards or his wants and needs, right? And he's giving you the power of consent. He's giving you, he's asking you for consent, or he's giving you, he's putting the ball in your court. You don't want to see him again, because this is a thing where I always believe this, right? And I don't know why it doesn't really happen like this, but before a date, before the first date, you should already know if you like this person. I've said this before. This is why dating sucks, right? Particularly for men. And it's because of women, in my opinion. Because there was a point in time, right? Courtship and shit like that. Women already knew that they liked the person, right? They already knew that they liked the person. The courting is just to reaffirm it, right? The dating is just to reaffirm it. So before you go out on a date with a man, you should already know that you like the person, right? You should already know that, yeah, we click so well. We have so many in common. We think the same. I love I love the things he said, right? I love his personality, the things like FaceTiming, talking. You really like the things about him. First date is to confirm, right? And to get your physical attraction, to get your, like, physical vibes, right? The physical chemistry. So if you already like the person, right? His personality before the first date, in the first date, you like you're attracted to him. You have a physical vibe, physical attraction. I mean, I think that, you know, you should be in a relationship already. Now, I don't know. The sex part, I wouldn't, I'm not a big thing where pushing women to just have sex with men really quickly. I will kind of say that, you know, I think it should be within a confine of a relationship, right? The confines of a relationship. So in my opinion, right? In my opinion, how I would have gone, right? I would have probably gone on a second, maybe third date, and then confirm, do you want to be my girlfriend, right? And then, you know, have intimacies, right? To, you know, because I think you should have sex in the confines of relationships. in my opinion. Now that's just me, right? You should be in some form of relationship, not just casually dating. So that's my side. So, but again, here's a man. He's giving you his boundaries. He's giving you his wants and needs before you decide if you want to or not.
Actually compatible with you. So like if I'm gonna come over, like I would be hoping to like hook up, have sex, have a good time, have like that.
This is a thing where I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. The whole sexual compatibility thing is kind of weird to me, right? I mean, I've had a few partners. It's like the sexual compatibility, the act of having sex. I just think that it's chemistry, right? So from one girl to another girl, it doesn't mean that there's more sexual compatibility. It's just that, I feel like if you love it, right? If you love having sex with that person, if that person loves having sex with you, I don't know. I don't know what do you mean. Like, I don't know. You fit things well. I mean, it's like, what do you mean sexual compatibility? I think what makes sexual more compatible is how you feel how you feel with each other. That's why I said in the confines of a relationship, it makes more sense for me, right? I never understand people when they say sexual compatibility, right? Because if you love each other, right, you should be sexually compatible, in my opinion, right? Because I don't really understand unless you think about, oh, you are wild sexually and that person is vanilla. Okay, I guess I understand that part. But it's like if you love each other, if you're wild, hopefully the person want to be wild. That's what I'm thinking.
Romantic spark and that physical spark there for my own sake, because it's hard for me to continue dating if dating.
So I can understand the sexual spark, right? So sexual chemistry, I guess I can understand that, right? So like I said, if you're wild, the person might not be wild, so you might not have a sexual chemistry. I can understand that. But I would say that it might change if you're in a relationship, right? If you're loving each other, it might change. I don't know.
Someone and seeing them if I don't know if I'm sexually compatible. So I know you said I don't know about that. So like I guess my thing is like what would be the point of me coming over then if we're not gonna like hook up and like cuddle and like be intimate with each other? And if that's what you don't want, that's fine. But like, I think we should just like end it here then, respectfully, just because first date, that's fine. Like you want to get to know each other. I'm all about that. But like, I am looking to have that physical aspect there. And I don't want to continue seeing someone if I don't know if that's good, if that's not there or not. So up to you. Let me know. I'm happy to, if you do want me to come over, I'm happy to do so. Would love to fuck, have a good time. And,
the part's like, I would love to fuck. I don't know. I just find it crude.
We can have some wine, hang out and chill. But if you're not trying to hook up, then like, I think we should just go our separate ways. Let me know.
I mean, again, I always feel like if you like the people who want, like, let's say open relationships, make it up front, do everything up front, right? So the person knows what they're getting into, right? I think that's perfectly respectful.
There's this video that just went viral of a voice note that a man sent to a woman basically saying like, had so much fun with you on our date, you're lovely, glad you invited me over to your house, but I just want to be clear, like, if I do come over, like, I am looking for that sense of, like, physical intimacy, to see if we are, like, sexually compatible for my own sake, blah, blah, blah. He goes on about this for, like, 2 minutes. And people are not happy about it. And I am shocked because, listen, as a person with autism spectrum disorder, that, like, level of directness and straightforwardness is genuinely a need. And I guess that speaks to, like, hey, there's somebody for everybody out there, because that is how I communicate with people. And it makes me think of how, like, in, like, college and stuff, when I first started being sexually active with people, I would, like, sleep with a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie. Found out it was a good stim, and I was stimming. And then I would, like, tell people about these things, again, because autism, I don't think that I should, like, not kiss and tell. I'm like, hey, guys.
Blaming everything on autism is tiring, but it's like no shame whatsoever, right? And you see this, right? This right here is no surprise that you produce that type of man, right? Let me have sex first, right? It's like, here's a woman that's like, Oh, I just had a whole bunch of sex when I was in college. No duh. Men jump to sex, right? Why even be in a relationship? Let's just fucking see if we like each other. Let's have sex and see, right? Why? Why even bother? Women don't value relationships, right? They don't.
I had sex with this person. It was super fun. Do you want to hear about it? And then people would ask me like, oh my gosh, how did you like bag this person or that person? Or like, how did that even happen? And then I go, well, I looked at them and decided that they would be someone that I would probably want to have sex with. And then I asked them if they wanted to have sex with me. And then they said yes. And then we picked a time and a place and we had sex.
Yeah. It's not that hard to bag someone if all you want is sex. It's like, it's not rocket science, right? If you are free, right? I heard this plenty of times, right? Your holes are better than a hand, right? It's better than their hand. So you are willing to give your body for free, right? No relationship required. Why would a man say no?
And to me, that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. That's exactly what it should be. And if like,
no, this is the problem. I said this. This is why women are their own worst nightmares. Women are their own worst nightmares. You created hookup culture, right? Because shit wouldn't happen, right? If women didn't allow it, right? A man like the first one, right? The memo guy. He wouldn't think about let's have sex first before a relationship. If women like this didn't exist, right? He wouldn't think that first. Women like this is why men think like, why do I need to get into a relationship? Hookup culture, situationships, right? Why would I need to be in a relationship when I can just have sex with women?
You want a deeper emotional connection with someone, then you should also be honest about that part too. And I don't understand why. I mean, I guess people just think that directness is abrasive, but like from my perspective, I feel like if somebody was like, I just want to have sex with you, I'd be like, appreciate that. Maybe it would be hurtful if I wanted more, of course. But if I also just wanted to have sex, I'd be like, slay, bet. Or I would, you know, be glad that they told me so that I could talk to somebody else instead. That is more aligned with what I want. I don't know. I feel like that's like a step in the right direction. But people are bullying this man for being honest about it. I think it's much better than like, I don't know, persuading someone or being like dishonest to get what you want out of a situation. Like being...
I do agree with that, right? That's the thing, right? I do agree with that, right? This is the problem with a lot of women. You can't handle the truth, right? You can't handle the truth. You wonder why men lie, right? I mean... It's like he wants to get it anyway. No doubt he lies.
Honest up front, I think is pretty goated and autism friendly. So that's just my 2 cents. If you haven't already seen it, a voice memo has gone viral that a woman shared because she invited a man over to her apartment and he sent her a voice memo letting her know that since they've already been on 2 dates, he would like to explore if they're sexually compatible when he comes over to her apartment, and wanted to know if that was also how she was feeling before he came over, right? He wanted to smash. She posted this as though it was some horrible thing, but I am team voice memo man is a walking green flag because of what this comment is mentioning, that this kind of openness saves lives. Because what voice memo man was doing, even though it's maybe not something we're used to or it's a little awkward, he was trying to get consent from a person before putting them in a situation that was very uncomfortable for them. Or that could have been very uncomfortable for them, I mean. Because I found myself in this situation, I'm sure many people have, where you want to invite someone over to your home. I like to play video games, so I'll invite someone over to play video games, not understanding that that person wants to have sex with you, and then they make a move and they're in your home, and then you have to do the work of kicking them out, and it's incredibly awkward and hard. And sometimes does not even go well and ends up putting people in really traumatic situations that they don't want to experience. But all of this can be avoided if people are super open and clear and honest about what they want before situations have things like pressure and coercion tied into them. And honestly, I think rape culture is a part of why it makes us uncomfortable when people are this open, right? Because we live in a society that has normalized consent not being an open conversation, not being brutally honest. What we have instead is a culture that normalizes signals and like indirectness, and that's what people find attractive. People are allowed to have their own romantic and sexual interests, right? But you do also have to understand that the idea is that things should be indirect and unspoken is what enables rape culture to continue, right? Because then when people are in situations that they didn't want to be in, people are allowed to say, oh, well, there was this signal or there was this signal. And so I thought what I was doing was okay. And that's accepted as a valid excuse because we haven't normalized people just openly saying, hey, I would like to have sex with you. Is that all right? Or we haven't normalized people sitting down and having a conversation before they have a sexual encounter about what type of sex is appropriate and
And you gotta think, right? Yes, it might be romanticism, but to be honest, in a Me Too now world, men will just find consent, right? Particular men, right? If you are a decent enough man, your idea is just hopefully you get consent, right?
other sexual experiences aren't wanted. People don't talk about those things. It's seen as awkward if you tell someone, hey, I would like to sit down and talk about our sexual preferences before we do anything, okay? Or, hey, before I come to your house, I would like to know if you want to have sex with me. That gets posted on blast online and ridiculed like it's some sort of bad thing when it's really a life-saving conversation about consent. So again, I think Voice Memo Man is a walking green flag, and I do think that people that are making fun of him or uncomfortable by that type of communication should really deeply inspect where their ideas of what like romance and sexuality looks like comes from, and if those ideas might be influenced by a culture that isn't actually safe. If you have
the people who don't have a problem with the second date voice memo are the same people who confuse consent and coercion. He is trying to coerce her into doing something, right? And people are saying, what I don't like about it.
To compel to an act or choice was coerced. And here's the thing where coercion, right, it's you gotta think, right? It's the compelling part. If she, this is the thing where second date, what's compelling you? Like how much are you falling in love with the person? So coercion is kind of hard to prove on a second date, right? Because and they haven't even gone on the second date yet, right? So they've only been on one date. So to say there's coercion, it's like there's no power to compel somebody, right? Because honestly, how many women really, be honest, how many women have actually fell in love with a person the first date? I don't think there's that many. I really don't, right? So to be coerced, but you don't really bother in seeing them person again, how you coerced, right?
Is the ultimatum, and there are people in the comments saying there is no ultimatum here. Here's the thing. The ultimatum,
a final proposal, condition, or demand, especially. I don't know if he didn't demand it, right? I don't know if he demand the person. One whose rejection will end negotiations and cause a resort to force or other direct actions. The only action is for them to go their separate ways, right? I don't think it's a resort of force, and the other direct action is to go their separate ways. It's not like I said, there is kind of an ultimatum in it, but it's like the problem involved using both of these two words, right? It's the power. There's no power in it, right? Again, she's not falling in love with him after the first date. So you don't have that power, right? The basis of power. This is why when I gave the reference of marriage, right? A divorce. There's power in it. The marriage is a very powerful basis, and divorce is very powerful, right? It's a very negative power. So you could coerce someone on an ultimatum because there's a bit of power to it. But when you could care less, it's like you could care less about the person. There's really no power to any of that.
is either you do what I want to do, which is us sleep together, or I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Now, you can say it's an ultimatum, but I don't see an issue with the ultimatum, but you cannot say that it is not an ultimatum. And also, if this man was really just trying to confirm consent from this woman and not coerce her or make her feel pressured into doing something, he would have went over there, okay, let me see what it's about. I know what I want to do, but if you don't want to do that, we don't do that. Post this date, I probably won't talk to you anymore. That's how.
Why would he have to go over there? So continue to waste his, I mean, like literally, she's saying what he would have done anyway. She like instead of him making the fluff, right? Like, oh, let me go over there and try doing why? You're just doing a whole lot of shit, like extra stuff.
That goes. Letting her know up front, I'm not even going to bother to come to your house if you don't want to sleep with me on the second date, is trying to get her to sleep with him on the second date. I don't care how y'all try to pack.
It is trying to get her. It is trying to get her to sleep with him the second date. That's what he said. I mean, like, it's like, again, he wants that. He said, are we going to go sleep? If I want to sleep with each other, I want us to sleep with each other on the second date if I go over there. He literally said that. Now, again, the problem is the lack of power in any of this, right? There is no power in anything. There is no power dynamic, right? There isn't.
It up. Y'all are so good at getting every single inference and what somebody meant in other situations, but when y'all are confronted with things that remind you of your own behavior, your own desires, everybody goes blind. Nobody sees what's going on here. Me personally, I would have received that voice memo and there would have been no response. There would have been no response. And he sounds cool with that, right? That should be fine. But him being like, oh, and you know, I know you said you don't know. I'm unsure. So again, she's expressed, I don't know if I want to do that. He's doubling down. Coercion. But whatever. He's saying
coercion? No. He's making sure that there's consent. He's making sure, no. She doesn't know what she wants, okay? But she's making her know what he wants. And at the end, if she doesn't want it, he said it, it's okay. We can go our separate ways. There's really no force in it, right? Again, the force dynamic, right? It has to be the power. She has to be in love with him, right? It's like, oh, I'm so much in love with the man. I don't want to lose him. So I feel like I have to do it, right? It's like you have to have the feeling that you have to do it. You don't have to do it, right? Because again, it's a second date. It's understandable if there was like they're in a relationship or it's like the 10th or whatever date.
You're unsure, and people are saying that that is not direct. If you don't know about something, I'm unsure is as direct as you can be. If you are
unsure is not as direct you could be. Yes or no is as direct as you can be. Unsure is that you might not. This is the thing. This woman is very low IQ then.
Pretending you were sure, one way or the other, that would not be being direct. Saying you're unsure when you're unsure is direct. Like, y'all, you're starting to worry me, y'all. The people who don't have a problem.
What?
Any of y'all seen the shit take from that one girl who has like 30,000 followers about how she agrees with the guy who sent that voice memo saying if we don't have sex on the second date, I'm not coming? Now she's saying that it was not nice of the girl to post the voice memo because he didn't give consent. Shut the fuck up. Did they pick you yet? I see all of them in the comments. I'm sure one of them will pick you and maybe you'll shut the fuck up. But I cannot believe.
I just find women funny. Pick-me's. Oh, did the feminists pick you yet? Did feminists pick you yet? Oh, you're such a pick-me. It's like, either side you want people to pick you.
The shit fucking take. Don't send weird shit and maybe people won't post it. I don't know. That was the fucking weird.
I don't think the guy was complaining that she posted.
Weirdest thing for a fucking not even a second date. Gross. Anyway,
people like this are actually idiotic. You're just mad you can't friend zone him.
I'll see the shit.
Real consent is, hey, do you want to do this, yes or no? It's not, if we don't do this, then I won't do Y.
The meaning of a message can never be changed by the way that it's expressed. It might change the way that it's received by the listener. It might change the way that the person feels about the message, but it actually doesn't change the message at hand. No matter what wrapping paper you use, it won't change the gift that's inside. It doesn't matter if he says, hey, can we have sex on the second date? And the other person responds, no. And then he says, okay, then I don't want to go on the second date. There is still going to be that idea of, if we don't do this, then I would not like to do that. And so if the idea at hand,
I always think it's funny, right? So would women say this, like the whole coffee date thing, right? Which women are, they were so against coffee dates. Is that not an ultimatum? Is that not coercion by their viewpoints? Like, if you take me on a coffee date, there's no date. Is that not coercion? You have to take me on a dinner date or there's no date. Is that not an ultimatum? But I guess women don't understand the double standards, right? Women don't understand the double standards because it's men, right? When men have standards or preferences, or when they voice their feelings, hell with that shit.
Itself is not coercive, then the entire voice note is not coercive. And that's because coercion is a matter of threats and circumstance. For instance, if this guy was driving this girl home and said, if we do not have sex, I will not drop you back at home, that is coercion. Because
you don't see that. That's the power, right? There's a power dynamic, right? there's a negative. If not seeing this man again on the second date, if it's not a negative, then it shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't necessarily fall under. I mean, again, technically, it'd be an ultimatum, but still, it doesn't have that power.
Because there's one, a threat in which the person is not going to drop her off in a safe location, and then two, no alternatives to the person at hand. I think when we use the word ultimatum, people are confusing that with not having any other choice. But again, the best thing about dating someone is that you don't have to date them. The same way that if I was talking to someone and I said, hey, I do not plan on ever having sex with you, so if that's something that you need, then we probably should not continue going out. That would not be coercion. If that does not work for the person, then that's their opportunity to be like, okay, that's not going to work for me. Do I think the voice message was good? No. I actually think it's pretty disgusting, and I'm glad that I didn't receive it. But I am glad that that girl knew what that guy was looking for and was able to quickly understand that that is not what she's looking for and then end the relationship right there.
Real consent is...
I mean, yeah, I think it was crass, like I said. But I mean, again, he was upfront. He said what he wants. I mean, like, it's like women ask for men to be honest and yet can't handle men's honesty.
Hey.
If you understand that guy's voice note, then you understand that what that guy was doing was ultimately coercive manipulation. However, when it comes to the question about consent culture, the reality is consent culture is actually really messy in application because usually it's one party that does not understand consent and then the other party has to use their agency and awareness to shut that down. Now, obviously, it's not going to be perfect. There are going to be in situations where you're going to be backed into a corner. There's going to be situations where sometimes you know better and then you fall into fight, freeze, fawn. Right? Survival mechanisms kick in and then things get messier. But the reality is consent culture essentially is the practice and awareness and development of it. So when you understand where you're acting from a place of awareness and you're able to say no in practice over time, that is the development of consent culture. That person is not somebody who's exhibiting consent. That person is exhibiting very clear manipulative behaviors, coercive behaviors. And when you understand consent culture, you understand the tools to identify coercion and manipulation. So being able to take all that information in and use the tools that you learn from consent to be able to say, this isn't really consent here. That's consent. That's literally how consent culture starts to begin and manifest over time. And it takes time. Because in a perfect world, both people would understand. But unfortunately, someone's always going to try to push the boundary. Because people are insane opportunists and then they don't see.
Push what boundaries? Like, I just find it funny that women seem to not be understand men's boundary. This man's boundary is that he wants to have sex early on in the dating process. That's his boundary. He literally gave her he voiced his boundary. If she disagreed, he said, okay. This is, again, it's the lack of power, coercion. He's not compelling her to have sex with him, right? He's not compelling her to have sex with him because to compel, she has to have a desire to be with him. She has to have a desire, right?
I figured I'd send you a voice note instead of texting you all of this. But anyway, I had a great time tonight. You're definitely very handsome, very funny. However, if
this woman did but if the roles were reversed.
I'm gonna go to your place on Thursday as a second date. I'm just looking for more to have some type of financial support kind of relationship to see if we're compatible. So like if I'm gonna come over to your house, I would be hoping that you take me out shopping first, spend a bag, have a good time to see if we have some type of romantic spark. You know, for my own sake, it's kind of hard for me to continue dating someone if I found out that they are broke and do not like to spend money on me. I know you said that you don't know about that. So like, I guess my thing is, what would be the point of coming over to your house if you're not going to take me shopping or pay for my nails or just pay for anything that I want? And if that's not what you want, that's fine, but I think we should just end it here then, respectfully, because you know, a first date is fine. You know, getting to know each other, I'm all about that. But at the end of the day, I'm looking to have a man spend a lot of money on me. Like, I'm looking for that financial aspect there. I don't want to continue seeing someone if that's not them, or, you know, that's not what they want to do. So up to you. Let me know. I'm happy to, if you want me to come over, I'm happy to do so. And I would love for you to take me out shopping first and have a good time. You know, we can sip some wine, hang out, go shop. But if that's not what you're trying to do, or if you're not trying to spend money on me, then I think we should go our separate ways. Anyways, let me know.
This woman thinks she ate because she's saying, do you hear how crazy I sound? In what world would a voice note like that from a man be okay to send a woman? That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. This would be good if you're upfront, right? She didn't eat. She didn't eat that, right? She didn't, like, you know, did a mic drop. Because if women were honest that they just want to use a man for money, be honest upfront. The problem is that women want to manipulate their way in. It's really, I've said this before, right? If you lie, women will buy. Women love liars.
Few things I've learned since this whole voice memo thing took off. Y'all don't know what words mean. You have no idea what grooming, coercion, or an ultimatum is. Can somebody explain to me how it's grooming when there's no power imbalance or age difference? Because that's what grooming means. 2, coercion. Asking somebody to make a decision is not coercion. Coercion implies something bad will happen if you do not follow through. Not continuing a relationship in which you were not compatible is not a punishment. Asking someone to make a decision is not an ultimatum. If somebody invites you to go out to eat to a restaurant you don't like, but you still want to go out with that person, and you say, hey, I don't like that restaurant. If we have to go to that restaurant, I probably won't go, but if we can go to a different one, I will. That's not an ultimatum. That's just clear communication. The last thing I learned is y'all have an awful relationship with sex. You have no idea how to talk about it. You have extraordinarily Puritan views, and you hate women who just like physical relationships. Y'all are in the comments dogging any woman that said that she appreciates that type of communication. This happens every time there's discourse on this app. Somebody will get on here, have no idea what they're talking about, but have some kind of like self-described title in their name and talk as if they're a complete authority on something they have no understanding of. Because you would think if they had an understanding of it, they would know the definition of the words, but they don't. They also believe that they're experts in sociology because they live in society, and that's not how that works. And there is an entire study dedicated to how humans interact, and you have never studied it. You don't know every communication style. You just know what you don't like.
I like this comment, right? Coercion is used incorrectly all the time. It does not exist in instances of fair consequences or natural consequences. I guess fair or natural consequences is that you just don't go on the second date, right? I've said this before. It's the lack of power, right? It's the lack of power. It's the lack of actual, true negative consequences. Again, a second date with a man is not, for most women, for majority women, it's not a negative consequences. I'm sorry. It's not. Particularly for a man you don't want.
To all the women out there making video after video about consent, we need to talk because y'all keep using that word, but it does not mean what you think it means. And yes, this is about voice memo guy, because I went down that rabbit hole last night, and now I'm so goddamn furious at the lot of you, because apparently I have to explain to an entire generation of women who do not understand what consent is. So consider this your warning. Consider this your opportunity not to continue watching, which is ironically exactly what he gave her. So for those of you who have been listening to the TikTok telephone version instead of the actual memo, allow me to explain what happened. This man goes on one date with a woman, and at some point he tells her that sexual compatibility was important to him. She said she was not sure about that. Not no, not yes, I'm not sure. She then invites him over to her house for a second date, so he sends her a voice memo to clarify. You said you were not sure. This is what I'm looking for. If you are not interested in the same thing, that is completely fine, but we are not compatible, and respectfully, we should go our separate ways. That's it. That's the entire supposed crime. He did not manipulate her. He did not coerce her. He did not groom her. He did not issue an ultimatum. He gave her the relevant information she needed to decide whether she wanted to continue seeing him. That is informed consent. And not only did he give her that information, he did it from a distance. He was not standing inside her house. He was not sitting beside her with his hand.
It's the lack of power dynamic, right? You would feel more forced or coerced or whatever if there was a man looming over you and saying all this, right? Which quite a few women said, "Oh, you should go on the date right? And then say all this shit and see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, then you don't. It's like, why would you want the man to be in front of you trying to coerce you?
Man's already wondering. He was not blocking her door. He was not putting her in a position where she had to reject him face to face while worrying about how he might react to that. She was safely in her own home listening to a voice memo, completely free to say no. That is the responsible way to handle this. That is the adult way to handle this. That is exactly what y'all keep claiming you want men to do. Communicate clearly, state their intentions, do not assume, ask first, give women room to say no safely. He did every single one of those things, and y'all are still pissed. So now
See, that's the thing, right?
That voice memo is exactly what happens when therapy culture and hookup culture have a baby. That's what you get. And the reason why I come on this app and I'm constantly telling people, do not participate in any type of dynamic that you do not want, is because you are training men how to treat you. If you hold boundaries, then men take a fucking hint. So no, I'm not surprised that stuff like that emerges. That voice memo is exactly what happens when therapy...
Okay. I mean, I'm assuming that, because women participate in hookup culture, you have a man, and hookup culture and consent culture, I guess. Now you have a man that thinks about hookup culture and looks for your consent. Okay.
If women collectively did not participate in hookup culture and they did not agree to situationships, then men would be forced to adapt.
I agree.
They would be forced to find a new path forward. They would take a hint because they would have no choice. Hookup culture and therapy culture create that voice memo. That's a perfect representation of it. I'm saying that whole situation is a product of cultural decisions we've been making for a long time. If women collectively did not participate in hookup culture and they did not agree to situationships,
men don't take a hint because he states in the voice note that she had already said she wasn't comfortable with that. I think she said she was unsure about that.
Then men would be forced to adapt.
But again, his thing is that it's not taking a hint. He said, if you are unsure, I want to make it known that this is my position. That is what I want, right? So if you're unsure and you know what I want, then we probably should go our separate ways. Again, it's not like he didn't take a hint. She wanted to go on a second date with him, right? He talked about it and she was unsure and she wanted him to come to her house, right? That's the thing where a lot of these people are stupid. It's not that he didn't take a hint. He wanted, there's no maybes, right? He didn't want no maybe. He wanted I want a yes. If you have a no, that is okay. We should go our separate ways and not waste each other's time. For me to go to your house and then you'll give me a no or a yes. It's wasting our times.
Would be forced to find a new path forward. They would take a hint because they would have no choice. Hookup culture and therapy culture create that voice memo. That's a perfect representation of it. I'm saying that whole situation is a product of cultural decisions we've been making for a long time.
I guess I could understand the therapy and hookup culture, right? Man wanted to hook up. Therapy culture, he explained it, right? He voiced his boundary, his voices, his feelings.
If women collect...
And that voice note is what consent looks like. It is blunt.
No, it's not. That voice note is what manipulation and coercion looks like. Real quick to get people up to speed, there was a guy who sent a voice note to a woman, and that voice note said that if she was not planning on sleeping with him on their third date, he did not want to pursue the relationship.
Second date. On the second date.
And so she had to agree to definitely sleep with him on the third.
She didn't have to agree. This is the whole telephone shit, right? She didn't have to agree, right? If she disagreed, they would just go their separate ways.
On their third date for him to agree to even go on the third date. Okay. He used manipulative language like, I want to make sure we're sexually compatible. I want to make sure we want the same things. And I don't want to waste my time, blah, blah, blah. There is now some debate over whether this was just direct communication and him getting consent, or whether this was manipulative and creepy and gross. I am firmly in the second camp. Because what he was doing, and he knew what he was doing. What he was doing is he was creating a situation where she was not going to feel like she would be able to say no in the moment. He was giving her an ultimatum, which is what this was, and kind of getting her to pre-authorize the sexual relationship between them so that if in the moment she wasn't feeling it, she would not feel like she was able to say no. Or she would feel guilty doing so. Because they already had an agreement, right? Women already don't feel safe saying no. They already, men already...
Why would you... Okay. So, you are going to say yes to later on saying no. What the fuck is that? To say no. It's no. Women feel like what?
Or she would feel guilty doing so because they already had an agreement, right? Women already don't feel safe saying no. They already...
You don't feel safe saying no. Why? The man sent you a voice memo. He wasn't asking you to your face. This is why women are perpetual victims. You got to treat women like children. Women are perpetual victims. How could you not feel safe saying no when he sent you a message? It's not that you're gonna say no. He's gonna come to your knock on your door and threaten you. Don't feel safe saying no. You're an idiot.
Men already freak out over women saying no to them, and adding this
freak out. He literally said, "If we could go our separate ways." I find it like you are projecting your insecurities. Right? You're projecting your trauma. The man said, if you don't want it, we can just go our separate ways. Where's that he would freak out? It's like, I hope you will say yes.
Layer to it, disaster. Consent is a moment-to-moment thing, and we all know that consent can be revoked at any time, right? And sexual relationships,
and that's the problem with consent, right? That's the problem with consent. It can be revoked at any time, right? It's like absolutely idiotic, in my opinion, right? The mindset is like, so you felt it, you want it, and then you didn't want it, and then you want it again, and then you don't want it. It's like literally the mindset of women.
Interactions, they unfold in the moment. You feel that spark and then you take things further. That's generally how it goes. Yeah, in the moment when you sense that happening, ask those questions as you go. Yeah, I'm all for that. That's great. But
ask those questions as you go. What?
Orchestrating a situation in which she pre-authorized her consent and therefore she would not feel like...
It's like, okay, as you go. So you're saying that, so in person, he should be asking these questions where wouldn't that be coercive? Wouldn't that have pressure? A man, it's like you already said, see, this is why women are stupid. I'm sorry. A lot of women, not all women, but a lot. You just said that women are scared to say no. But what you recommend is that a man be in front of a woman, right next to a woman, and ask these questions. Are you stupid? Like, women cannot escape the narrative that you are low IQ.
She could safely say no in the moment if she wasn't feeling it. That is not consent. That is coercion and that is manipulation. And we need to stop giving men cookies because they directly communicated stuff when that stuff that they're directly communicating is creepy and grapey. Like, no.
Then say no. If you find it creepy, like, this is the thing where what he did, right, save you the time. If you already felt creepy by what he said, that means like there's no coercion. You wouldn't want to see this man. You wouldn't want a second date with this man. So where's the coercion? Where's the force to say yes? Where's the force? You already don't want, you already find this man creepy and grapey, as she wants to say. What's stopping you from saying no?
Yesterday, I made this video, and despite so many of you being offended that this guy wanted to talk about sex with the person that he was casually dating, a lot of you actually want to talk about it. I just don't think you really know how to. Let's talk about some of the common complaints and arguments that I received, because a lot of you understood what I was saying. A lot of you agreed. While a lot of you value and understand communication and transparency in the act of dating, a disturbing amount of you don't understand that at all, are against it, and are also creating narratives to vilify it, and that's worrisome. One of the most common complaints that I read is that it was off-putting that he gave her an ultimatum, and y'all kept using this word, ultimatum, 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 as if ultimatum is something bad. And that must be like a cultural thing, because ultimatum is a neutral word. Here's the definition of ultimatum. Ultimatums happen in your life all the time, and they are likely not associated with anything negative. I also want to point out that yesterday I made this video, and despite so many of you being...
Oops, sorry.
Yesterday I made this video, and despite so many of you being offended that this guy wants to be like a cultural stage to a relationship. I understand that dating app culture has sort of like misconstrued what dating is, but at most there might be a talking stage. This whole situationship thing that y'all have made up, yeah, that's just a lack of good communication. That's what a situationship is. The situationship should never have been a thing that was normalized. At best, it should be friends with benefits, and that also requires communication. But dating is the preliminary stage to being in a relationship. That is quite literally the uncommitted phase where you discover if you and this person that you are dating are compatible. It is also very normal in the dating phase.
You know what? I like this one. This person said, another word for ultimatum is boundary. I like that. Exactly.
To date multiple people at the same time, as long as all of those people understand that you are dating multiple people. I think the youth calls it having a roster. Another disturbing thing that came up in the complaints or the disapproval of what this guy in the voice note did is that it was lustful and men only want sex, and the gendering of who wants or likes sex, who prioritizes sex, who is seeking sex, who thinks sex is important in a relationship is so problematic. It is misogynistic. It is sexist. It is a trope that condemns women from having and enjoying sex. It's also a trope that ends up creating a great deal of shame.
I just want to show this. I mean, I'm done with it, but it's just women can't even think the same, right? I mean, I'm not saying that women should, but it's like when you try to push a narrative, right? Right? It's like having consent coach, whatever, doing all this stuff. It's like it's hard to, sometimes women, right? Women want to say, oh, men objectify women, right? Men objectify women. And then you see videos of women objectifying themselves. And then you see women say men object to women. And then you see women said, oh, you got to pay this if you want me. It's like, how are men supposed to think, right? This is why men do the things they do, because they rather just, shotgun it and see what happens, right? Because women are individuals in a sense. You don't know what you're getting, right? You don't know what you're getting. So exactly what that voice memo guy is. There's women that participate in hookup culture, situationships, and there's women that don't, right? There's women that want a relationship. So what he did was, I'm just gonna be upfront, right? I want maybe a situationship or a hookup or whatever. So I'm gonna be upfront with it. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, the problem is the narrative that women put out so many different narratives in society. Men don't know which one to pick, right? Men don't know which one works or whatever, right? He's like, oh, you want the white knight, okay? But then you're like, oh, men are beta if men cry. It's like, what the fuck do you want, right? Like, oh, you should not approach women, but men don't approach women anymore. What the hell do you want? That's the problem with dating, right? Women have made shit so confusing, so idiotic, so annoying. It's tiring. It really is. And her bangs is annoying. I just wanted to say that, but yeah. What do you guys think? All right, guys, that is it for tonight. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a good day. That's it. Later, guys. Hope you guys like the videos. Please check out my other